So it's another inexpensive Android tablet, the Oukitel OT11, and I'm seeing this for £150 on Amazon. Well, this will be the, I think, fourth inexpensive Android tablet that I've reviewed, and actually most of them have found really good use in my life. So it's a bit of a funny setup with RAM and ROM here. You've got 16 gigabytes officially RAM, but really only 4 of that is really RAM. It's just borrowing 12 from the ROM. So it's 128 gigabytes of ROM. So it's not blistering specs, and it's a T606 chip, which is unisoc, it's octa-core, and it's a 12 nanometer process. So it's not your cutting edge chip, of course. But if you're looking for something that doesn't cost the earth, maybe to give to your children, or maybe just to live in a certain place that you can quickly reference things, then it'll be plenty powerful enough for those simple Android tablet things, I'm sure. Comes in its case. Comes with a little stylus, although I'm sure that's a dumb stylus. And the thing about these inexpensive Android tablets is they cost the same as Apple adds on just to allow you to access 4G, and it's just included. So of course it's got a SIM tray in there and you can put it on the mobile network. Included in the box, you've got an adapter and a cable, of course, as well. And so yeah, I've reviewed a Doogie, and that's been excellent. My daughter uses that really all the time. I reviewed a Blackview Oscar, which my son currently uses, and that's quite annoying because I haven't been able to put that onto kids mode. So I'm hoping that this will allow kids mode and I can replace that Oscar there. Although the tablet itself is perfectly fine. It also does a thing where when you fold the case backwards, it actually goes into sleep mode, which is annoying with that Oscar. And lastly, the All-Do Cube, which actually I'm using as my little teleprompter today. Careful just not to peel the screen protector, but just to peel this first layer off. It's nice to know, really, isn't it, that when you need a cheap Android tablet just to fill a job or to give to one of your kids, then you don't need to spend the earth on it to get something that just works. So I'm going to get this set up, and yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. So that was all pretty painless, and yeah, it was just straightforward to put a kid's account on this, so that's ticked that box straight away. So let's just have a quick look at this device. It is nice that you don't have to think of buying a separate case. They give you a perfectly serviceable case in there. It's got a massive camera bump for a tiny little camera, which is absolutely ridiculous. Just make it flush. Don't sort of pretend that it's a better camera than it is. They've given you this sort of dumb stylus, which they might as well have not bothered, but actually I think for, you know, for the use that I'm thinking of it with for a kid, then actually, you know, maybe it is worth having. What about that side? Is that a pen? Oh gosh, that side's a pen, so nice to have, but make sure he knows to use that side rather than the pen side. Let's have a little look around the device. I'll put the headphone jack on the corner there, which is like a lot of these inexpensive devices. That's quite nicely made. It's a very plasticky thing, but nothing wrong with that. The screen's just fine. It's a 2K screen, which is a little bit better than HD, basically. Doesn't have a fingerprint reader, which would be a miss if I was recommending this as a professional's tool, but I'm not. 2 speakers at the bottom there. Let's see how they handle videos in a second. Place for your possibly 2 SIM cards if you like, or 1 SIM card and 1 TF card. So where's my app tray then to install? Certainly acceptable speakers. They're not going to blow anyone's mind, but yeah, fine. I'll let you know what he thinks of it. Yeah, so he's delighted with it, as you'd expect. I mean, there's some good features on this. It's got a big old battery. It's 8,000 milliamp hours. It's nice and slim. It's 8mm, and exactly what you'd expect at this price. It's an 11-inch display. It's got, yeah, a 5 megapixel front camera and a 13 megapixel rear camera, but you're not going to buy this for those cameras, are you? And it does have the wideband L1 support, which is what you need if you want to stream things like Netflix or Disney. quite a few fingerprints on it already from the kid. And yeah, there are these three nice colors. You've got the kind of purplish pink, you've got the green, and you've got this one, which is the gray. So if you are thinking about buying it for one of your children, you've definitely got a color to suit. And of course, it's got the TUV certification, which is the low blue light thing. It's not a screen that I'd recommend for professional use, of course, and I'm really into e-ink tablets here, but if that's something you're going to be handing to your children, it's nice to know those little eyes are getting a little bit of protection, at least from the blue light. Of course, the pen is just awful. I mean, it's not even a thing. Don't bother buying it for an artist's sketchbook because it isn't going to be useful for that at all. It's just the same as drawing with your finger. And I have found that, yeah, the angles really aren't very good. You see there's no accurate writing or anything on this. So I'll just go ahead and run Geekbench 6 on it and have a little look. I'm sure the performance isn't going to blow anyone away. But one of the use cases they show here is it actually mounted in a car. And yeah, of course, you could very easily do that. And I can actually see that you've got SIM card tray for dual SIMs, believe it or not, and GPS. So yeah, you could actually have this as an alternative to Android Auto just mounted on your dashboard. And at this price, that's a bit of a no-brainer if you've got an old car, really, isn't it? Maybe some time with this. So it's not for professionals. It's not going to be your be-all and end-all. But if you want something for your kids, or if you want to pin it in a car or put it on the side in the kitchen, something for your recipes, then it's amazing what you can now get at this price point. And from my experience with a week of this, you can rely on this to do Android tablet things. So there you are, it finished. It's one of the lowest single core scores I've ever seen running Geekbench on an Android device. So that's pretty poor. Multi-core score, not a lot there as well. But it is running Android 14. It is an 8-core processor and the base frequency 1.6 gigahertz. It's not really doing much for anyone. And if you look at the kind of comparison charts, you see even going down to the lowest they bothered to show on here, it's nowhere near. But in real world use, for what it's worth, it's an Android tablet that works.